particular case we want to talk about in this video is something called adverse selection. It's just another form of asymmetric information. Adverse selection is one of the biggest problems for people in the insurance business. So in order to motivate this, let's consider the market for health insurance. Suppose you have a group of people that you're going to sell insurance to. You're an insurance salesman, and you're going to sell it to this group of people. Suppose you got 100 people in this group. And you're going to sell it to them at one constant rate, sort of the group rate. Everybody pays the average expected healthcare cost. That's what we would call a fair insurance premium. On average, I know what the health insurance costs are going to be for this group of 100. So if everybody pays 1/100th of that costs, then I'm going to have enough money coming in to make it worthwhile for me to pay all those bills for the people over the course of the year. Now the problem is that it turns out these people are not all the same health risks. In fact, there's a group of people in that room, let's say the top 5, 6 people in terms of healthy people, who notice, hey, I haven't been to a doctor in the last 15 years. I'm like 22, 23 years old, peak physical condition. I don't ruin my body, don't smoke, don't drink. I run 5 miles a day. I'm a really healthy type of person. Why am I paying this average rate? There are some people in this room I can look around who are pretty sickly. Okay, they're overweight, they're smokers, they're all these sorts of things. You know what? I'm just not going to pay that average. And so those 10% of the people drop out. Now, when those 10%, or those 5 or 6 people, the number, we've just got a group of people, the healthiest group kind of goes off. The people who are left are definitionally higher risk than the other larger pool was, because the people to the left are all basically higher risk for health problems. The less risky, the people who were really the healthiest left. People who are left are not all that healthy. So what that means from the insurance company's point of view is that the average risk has now gone up. So since the average risk has gone up, the insurance company has to raise the premium that it charges each one of these people. The average premium has to now go up to reflect the fact that the pool of people are sicker than they were before. But as soon as you do that, there's now another sliver of 5 or 6 people who say, wait a minute, I know I'm not quite as healthy as Debbie and Bob were, who walked out earlier, but I'm better than a lot of these people. I'm not going to pay the average rate and cross-subsidize these people who, for their lifestyle behaviors and these sorts of things. I'm out of here. And so they step out. And now again, the pool is getting smaller. Each time that happens, the pool gets smaller. It gets more unhealthy, a higher risk for insurance, because the people who are left in here are sicker by definition than the ones who bailed. And that means the average rate for the people who are left is going up again, because that's a sicker pool. So the insurance company, in order to break even, has to have the average that they're all going to make, so that they make just enough money to break even on this deal. Plus a small markup. But again, as soon as they raise the rate, they're now going to cause another. Before, a group that was willing to stay, but now, I'm just not going to, and they'll pull out. And you see what's going to happen here. Every time they raise the rate to reflect the average of the people who are left, there are some people who are healthier than the average and some people who are worse than the average in terms of their health bills. These guys are not going to pay that middle price. They're bailing, okay? And then the people who are left are sicker. We saw this in a big way. That's called, by the way, adverse selection. Sometimes insurance markets will just fail. We can't do it. So this was brought to great national attention back in June of 2012. The Supreme Court of the United States was asked to review on what was known as the individual mandate. That was a component of the Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act is more commonly known as Obamacare. And in Obamacare, everyone was required to have health insurance. Otherwise, you had to pay a penalty. And there were people who said you just can't force people to have health insurance. And so they took it all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Obama administration and said, you can keep the individual mandate. This was exactly the adverse selection problem. The key to Obamacare is there's no such thing as pre-existing conditions. Everybody pays the average insurance. You go out to these pools, you see what the insurance are on the website, and you bid it. Well, it turns out if everybody's paying the average, there are going to be some people who say, I'm not going to do it. I mean, it's not by coincidence that you hear when they talk to people about Obamacare, they say, well, the problem is we're having difficulty getting the young people, 22, 23, 24, 25-year-olds to sign up. That's because they're exactly that super healthy, well, let's put it this way, very low-risk people compared to somebody like me in their 60s who's older, maybe got a little too much weight, other sorts of problems in your life. These people are saying, I'm just not getting in there. Obamacare requires them to get in so that you have some people who are very healthy and don't use much services, other people who are not very healthy and use lots of services. The average premium will cover everybody, but of course that's a cross-subsidization from one group to the other group. That's what the adverse selection problem is all about.